In a world of waiver wires and trades, where every Sunday is a battle, one person's decisions can mean the difference between glory and crushing defeat. This is Meet the GM.
Haircut tomorrow.
Nice.
Hi there, and welcome to episode 14. It is with Gary. We've finally got each other who we can actually chat. How's it going today?
Yeah, not too bad. Apologies for the back and forth. I know we've been playing tag with getting this in, but finally we managed to find a slot. So it's good to catch up with you, mate.
It is too, yeah. I see you got your some 49er stuff in the background. Got some giant stuff in the background. I'm slowly getting to the way I want it. So.
Yeah, it takes a while. You know, we moved last year, and there's a lot of stuff in the cabinet here, and every now and again you open a cupboard and you're like, oh, there's more merch in there. Close that so the wife doesn't find that one. But, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've got a shed full of stuff. I'm pretty sure I've got my old Scottish Claymores jersey somewhere in the shed, and my old Super Bowl program from 07. So it seems to be the only one I'm missing. And I definitely had that one because obviously the Giants beat the Patriots.
Yeah, that's the one that you would have definitely made sure you had.
I need to bloody find that one again or buy it again, one of the two. Anyway, so as you said, we just moved again. So where about you from?
So I moved again. I was in Beaconsfield, I was in St Albans. Now I'm in Bicester. So I'm just outside of Bicester, which is, you know, famous for its shopping village, just in sort of the Oxfordshire borders.
Nice. I was going to ask you where's it near, so Oxfordshire.
Yeah.
So we could ask you this different question every year and get a different name, but what is your OrkneyBowl team name this year?
I can't remember what am I called myself this year. I need to double check actually.
Bicester Bullets.
Bicester Bullets, yeah, the Bicester Bullets. That's what
Bicester
it is.
Bullets.
It's basically, Bicester is famous for having old motorbikes, and the Bullet was a motorbike that was built in Bicester at Bicester Motions. There you go. There's your reference for you.
So in your logo, you probably should have a motorbike instead of a bullet then, eh?
Yeah, but it's easier to make bullets on a logo than it was making a motorbike, quite frankly.
I could have done something for you.
True.
Anyway, so how long have you been following the NFL?
How old am I now? It's boring.
Only you know that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Since what was the Super Bowl I first? 86. One of the first.
Was that the
early
against the Bengals? No.
Yeah, it was the Bengals.
That was 84.
No, 85 was the Bears. So it was the one after the Bears. I started watching. I don't know.
Was that when Joe Montana had like so long to go to get down the field to?
That was the one I remember vividly. The Bengals one with the drive and the John Candy and the broken legs and whatnot. I can't remember if that was 86.
I felt really sorry about the Bengals. I thought that might have been 84, but I can't remember.
I don't think it was. No,
it was a long time ago anyway.
It was a long time ago because I remember it because basically I know the rough yearage because I grew up in Glasgow until I was 11, moved back down south, found American football when I moved back down south and started to get into it. So I must have been 11, 12-ish, which kind of tallies with 85, 86-ish. So that's kind of where it was.
It must be 86 because the Bears were 85.
Yeah.
That depends.
Yeah. So it would have been 86 season Super Bowl, but obviously 1987 year of it coming to the screens.
They were trying about the same time I started watching.
Yeah, we're old school, Johnny. That's what it is. We're some of the OGs. We remember exactly grey hair, grey beards. We remember going down the shop on a Thursday to find the First Down weekly newspaper.
Yeah, and then when I moved to Orkney, I had to get it on a Saturday. But because it took a while
to get there.
I still got it. And obviously Touchdown magazine, the monthly one, that was a good magazine. I quite liked that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said to somebody before, I used to remember the company Pontel.
Yes.
They had you'd pay like 40 quid and you'd get every game that season, including the playoffs. And the only season I did it, when we got absolute hammered of Carolina in the playoffs, and I was like, I'm not doing that game.
Never again.
But it was great. You would get the CD about Thursday, and then you could watch the whole game, ready for the weekend thing. So.
Kids these days, eh? Kids these days with their instant streaming, they don't know how good they've got it.
I know, they were awesome. Look, and you had every game.
Wow, that's amazing.
The whole game, including the adverts, was awesome. But then that's just showing their age. But there we go. So obviously, going by the background, and the Super Bowl that we talked about, what team do you root for?
I am a 49ers
Anybody that
fan.
knows, knows.
Anybody who knows anything about me should know I am a 49ers fan through and through. In the 49, they were the razzmatazz team of the 80s and 90s. Obviously, growing up, first team you see them, red and gold, cheerleaders, everything like that. That first Super Bowl, as I say, against the Bengals, that was it. And like the UK fans, once you choose your team, it doesn't matter if they're good, bad, or ugly for the rest of your life. You're stuck with them because that's the team you choose.
Precisely. Like obviously, I was the Giants. They weren't the best, but they got better after that time. But I did have a soft spot for the Bengals because I did like watching Boomer play. It's just even the name Boomer the Science and such a cool name.
It sounded so exotic and amazing at the time, doesn't it? Because you didn't have nobody in the UK was called Boomer. Nobody was like, wow. Yeah. But I mean, it's like same as me. I mean, I have a soft spot for the Bills, but that's probably just because of the 4 in a row Super Bowls and the fact like that. At some point you were like, come on, just give them one already. Maybe less soft spot for them now because they've become a lot more successful, but yeah, still would like for that organization to at least get one.
Well, they've got one of the best players in the league. They can't get to the Super Bowl.
Just can't get over the hump because they kind of seem to keep running into good teams around them.
So obviously, that probably the Super Bowl. So what led you to that team? Was it because you saw them in the Super Bowl?
It was initially. Back then, you had so limited options of what games you saw, and then highlights of 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks later, and whatever else. And they were the razzmatazz gold and red and gold. I just moved, as I say, moved back to London. Aberdeen was my team from Scotland because I didn't want to go Glasgow or Rangers when I moved to Glasgow. It was a weird sort of growing up scenario. I moved from London to Glasgow, so everyone was like, oh, you've got to choose a team. And I was like, well, everyone is either green or blue. I'm going to go red just to be different because I was different. And then moving back down, I was Liverpool. And then obviously red and yellow and red and gold was close enough. So therefore, that was my team. And that was what I chose them for.
Well, in fairness, 83 and all that, Aberdeen weren't bad.
They weren't bad, yeah. Took a while. I mean,
I think that's
been 9 years of absolute ridicule, but eventually they came good just as I was getting out and leaving.
Yeah. Maybe that's why then. It's a farewell. See you later.
You've done your time. Get out.
So you've had to live in Glasgow long enough. It's time to go.
Yeah.
So, what is your favourite player from your team from the past? To be quite, I can't see them.
That's the famous Ronnie Lott picture of him.
Ronnie Lott. I thought it was Ronnie Lott, but I wasn't sure.
With the interception and running.
I'm getting blind in my old age.
Yeah. Well, as we just said, we're the OGs. No, Ronnie Lott was the guy who just epitomised for me everything about football that was making it different, made it so unique. Smash people clean out of their helmets half the time. Hit like a train. The Super Bowl obviously was a massive hit on. In the Icky Shuffle, everyone thought he was going to run over everybody. First play, he ran into Ronnie Lott, and everyone just sat up, took notice. It was like a hit heard around the world type thing. The man was just a beast. And then obviously when I learned a bit more about him, cutting a finger off so he could continue playing, Hall of Fame, the kind of the stats and the records, but also the kind of player he was, just made me did make me go and pad up and go and play the game just to be a bit like him. So yeah, it was kind of the reason I followed it, but also kind of played the game in the same way, matched the game against the way he used to play, which was great fun at the time. I wouldn't be allowed to do it now, obviously, but
oh no, they're not allowed to do it now.
They're not allowed to do it now either. But at the time, it was fantastic for me to go out and absolutely lay out wide receivers.
Back then, it was just the hits were just amazing. You know what I mean? Like they're pansy hits now compared to back then.
Yeah, people are like, what a hit that was!
If you didn't hear it above the crowd,
yeah. Yeah, the blind side's coming across the middle. I remember playing I played for a few teams in London, but I remember literally having a call as they came across the middle, and you could see the receivers. The first time they do it, they think, "What the hell's that?" And then after I laid them out the first time, you could actually see them physically go, "Not sure I want to do that. Not sure I want to do that." And that was quite a nice feeling. But that was all because I love watching Ronnie Lott.
Well, we used to play in the school playground on the concrete between two.
Was it concrete or was it that lovely grey asphalt that you used to have?
Oh no, this was proper concrete.
Proper concrete, right? Okay.
And there was a boy, he caught the ball on the side and I just absolutely hammered up, and his back just scraped right along the thing. And his shirt was just disintegrated, and blood was like, oopsie.
Yeah.
But I couldn't resist. Plus the fact he was a Hearts fan as well, so I couldn't really resist.
He was asking for it then, wasn't he?
But there was an extra incentive to that one. But after a couple of days and a few more injuries, just decided they weren't going to let us play in the school anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say it wouldn't have taken long for the teachers to go, this is not a good place for this. Yeah.
No. But back then, you just basically told you they gave you a plaster until you got back to school. That's where I broke my wrist. And
that's it.
I broke my wrist. I put a cuba grip on it and says, right, go back to class.
Off you go. Yeah, that was it. Okay, those were the days, eh? Those were the days.
I know. So, who's your favourite player in your team at the moment? You've got a couple of good ones, but obviously
a couple of good ones. Obviously, everything runs through CMC as a player. Offensive player of the year and stuff like that. I think it would be remiss of me as a 49ers fan to not say George Kittle was my favourite player on the team, just because of the vibes that he brings, the way that he plays the game, the fun that he has with it. He just everything about the way he plays the game is just right. It's not corporate. It doesn't feel like he just feels like a regular guy who's just living his best life, smashing people up, catching balls, having fun, and it's just he's great. Love McCaffrey, as I say. I think there's a few interesting guys. Fred Warner on defense is just a beast. The new he's taking up the mantle of Bowman and some of those great defenders. Some of the others are a little. I like Purdy. He's lacking a little bit of the characterization that maybe some of people of our generation want our football players to have. And I think that's why Kittle stands out above some of the others that he's got. He seems to have that throwback character sort of thing.
Oh, everybody loves Kittle.
Yeah. and I think it is. It's
Kittle
one of those...
reminds me of, remember Hines Ward?
Yeah.
He would absolutely leather the defender, and he would just be big, pure smiles. But you couldn't like it. You could not like him.
Yeah, and that's
he was
exactly
smiling no matter what he did.
And if you've ever lucky enough to catch like a George Kittle mic'd up, he's the same. He's getting a pancake block on a defender, and he's laughing in his face and go, that was amazing. Or vice versa, when he gets laid out, he loves it. It's just he's just playing the game as if he's just like a regular guy who's just suddenly gone, I'm playing in the NFL. This is like the best thing ever. And it just kind of comes across, and he galvanizes the 49ers when he's playing well and having fun. The 49ers actually play better, so that's also a plus.
Yeah, they are a completely different team when he's healthy and playing.
Yeah.
So the next one, who's your favourite player of all time that's not from the 49ers? It could be current or past.
It's a toughie one because there's a lot of years to choose from.
We are not as biased as some, because some refuse to say anything.
I can look at the AFC with that sort of look of, there were some good players. I mean, Dan Marino was an absolute beast of a quarterback, and you feel like maybe he probably deserved the Super Bowl. Jim Kelly deserves a Super Bowl for different things, but Thurman Thomas was also one of the ones. He was one of those really great nuggety running backs. He didn't have the Walter Payton sort of love and adoration, or Emmitt Smith and stuff like that. He was of that era, but Thurman Thomas was a really nuggety, hard-nosed running back who kind of got the hard yards for that team. So he's also one that I also, admired a lot. So probably him. And then Randall Cunningham was always, a little bit classy. Yeah. He was just a little bit extra classy when he was playing, when he was, I think his athleticism, he was probably a forerunner for the kind of athletic QBs that we see now. And he was just.
I didn't like playing against him.
No, I'm sure from your point of view, you wouldn't have done. You played him twice a year. But he was just graceful, and he just looked like a gazelle amongst some sort of wildebeest at times when he was running. So he was another one that kind of stands out.
Well, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there was one game the Giants sacked him 10 times or something like that in one game. They probably still lost, but
he got to him. But yeah, he still
But I don't like I don't like the Cowboys, and I don't like the Eagles.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fantasy, I always drafted Brian Westbrook.
Yep.
Because he was a fantasy cheat code even back then. And it wasn't PPR then, but this boy would score 20, 30 points more often than not.
A lot of times.
Yeah. Well, that was the only one I would pick regularly.
Yeah, same as me. I mean,
But-
when we get into those sorts of picks and stuff like that, there is definitely sort of homerism that comes in, and also the vices of like, I don't care how good that player is, I'm not picking him because he plays for that team. Even if I won't,
Yeah.
and my record in fantasy shows that I obviously do favour not picking the team than the player that's good, rather than just because he's in a team that I can't stand playing.
I know I do that sometimes, but then I did draft George Pickens in the home league last year, and he did me quite well.
Yes.
Yeah. Although I did draft him before he got traded, I can't remember. But anyway, it's hard to say. But yeah, I try not to, but sometimes you really have to if there's nothing else.
Yeah, when you look at the board, you're trying to just go, oh, really, I don't want to, but it's kind of, if I don't, you kick yourself type thing.
Mm-hmm. So here's a fun one for you, because obviously after the shock pick in the draft, what do you think of your team's draft this year? And who is Stribling?
Yeah, I know Stribling, and he has some really great qualities. Coming out of Ole Miss, he was and this is obviously from a Niner perspective, he's a little bit Debo-esque, not quite as bulky, not quite as the wide back that Debo ended up that season, where he literally ran over everybody and took over the league when we needed him to.
That was a good one. That
was a good season if you had him in your team. But he's got that gadgety speed sort of thing, and I get that from a draft perspective, everyone's like, he's drafted way too high. And I don't think so. I don't think he was drafted too high. I don't think he would know. He would certainly not have been there if he was the Niners pick. He would not have been there the next pick round for them. And I think that's the only reason everyone's going, well, he was quite high and you could have got him later. I don't think you could have. And I think it's starting to come out now and through other media outlets and other, bits and pieces that people are like, oh, no, this guy can play. He was actually on people's boards to go middle of the second. So the fact he went early second isn't massively too much of a shock to me. I think he's got some skill sets that Shanahan will hopefully utilize to bring him out. But I say that with a slight caveat that we thought the same of Ricky Pearsall when he's granted he's not had the chance to really have a run of games because he got shot and he's been injured and he's hardly been on the field. So there's always a risk, but I think if we can get a wide receiver room with a leader, which we do now have, because initially I was really worried about it, but I think the fact he's got some senior guys to learn from, but he's also got that raw talent. I actually like what we've got there in him. I think we drafted for need in a lot of places. Some of them, obviously, he went out and got a running back because it's Shanahan, so of course he's going to go randomly steal a running back in the fifth or whatever else. And he'll probably end up playing 10 games this season and absolutely light it up, and then we won't ever see him for him ever again because it's the 49ers, right? And that's what he does. But there's a few gems in there, but I think there's a lot of players in there that we probably won't see too much of this season. But I think there's a lot there that they've drafted for needs, knowing that we need to fill a hole next year or the year after. So the guy in the D lineman, I think, will rotate in and out first season, just because we just need some bodies in there. We get decimated on defense so often, so much so that it was everyone, the running joke that played next to the substation.
Was it Fred Warner got injured last year and they certainly missed him when he went out?
Yeah,
who was the young boy that took his place?
D.
He's away now, is he not?
Yeah, we traded him away.
I thought he did good a couple of games, but obviously
he did step in. He's big Fred shoes
Warner,
to fill.
so.
He's no Fred Warner, and we got Dre coming back from Denver, so now it's Warner and Dre Greenlaw back again. So
cool.
D. Winters is obviously unfortunately surplus to requirements on that, and he wants to play and he wants to be a starter, and he deserves to be a starter after last year. So I think, I hate to say it, the Cowboys have got a good deal out of that one.
Yeah, had to be the Cowboys.
Of course it did.
It's bad enough they got down. Yeah. But that's another story. So, what are your thoughts on your team's prospect this year, and what do you think your record will be? Because you are in one of the harder divisions.
We are in the toughest.
Carolina.
Barring the end. Cardinals are just going to be absolutely shocking. I don't even think.
Cardinals are, yeah, but they always start well.
They always start well, and the NFC West, it doesn't matter how bad the bad team is. the divisional games in the NFC West are always sometimes more of a bun fight, more harder games than other conferences. And maybe that's just the way I see it, in the way, if you probably say the same against the NFC East. But sometimes you can have teams in that NFC East that are really bad, and you can go as a home win. Granted, I think pretty much we get 2 wins against the Cardinals. I think all of the problem is, I think the 3 teams in the NFC West are the 3 best teams in the NFC, and we are going to struggle because I think Seahawks coming off the Super Bowl, the Rams have tooled up. The Rams have really tooled up. They're going all in, and we're going to be there and thereabouts. But I think the best we could hope for is a playoff, wild card playoff round, because it's going to be an absolute arm wrestle to get.
Oh, but you got to think the last time the Rams went all in, they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going.
So he knows what he's doing.
He does know when he goes, sod it, we're going all in. We don't need picks. We're just going to go and get the best guys and tool up. That defense was already pretty good with Verse and Frisk, and then they just go and throw that random guy in who may or may not be pretty good. Jesus,
yeah, the best player in here.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the NFC West is. I think we probably will get to 10 wins, but they will be struggles, and I don't think there's an easy part of our schedule. Obviously, also added to the fact we're traveling 30,000 miles or whatever it is this year. Thanks, Rams. Appreciate that as well.
Because you're the reason my home league drafts have to be a Wednesday instead of Friday night, because you're playing in fucking Australia.
Yeah. No, we're not the reason. The Rams are the reason. They asked for us to be.
Oh, the NFL's the reason.
No. The NFL and the Rams decided they wanted the 49ers to be their opponents in Melbourne because they didn't want to.
Yeah, but why is it's before the champions kick off, which I think is bloody stupid.
That part is insane. That bit I don't get. But so that
they should have technically just had the Seattle playing Wednesday night and them on Thursday night, and that way you're still getting the champions kicking the season off. Not
I don't understand why
the 2 teams that are probably a good chance of beating them.
So, go figure. Yeah. It makes no sense. I mean, obviously it makes sense from a time zone perspective, but then, as you say, put that game on the Thursday, kick off the Seattle game. Although to make it Thursday night, wouldn't it have to be played? Right, I don't know. I can't even work it out now because the game in Australia is actually being played Friday afternoon, Thursday afternoon or something, isn't it? Or Thursday evening, which means it's Wednesday night back in the States.
Because
they're near enough 24 hours, aren't they? So it's a bit of a weird one. So I don't know why they've done it. Well, I know, as I say, I know why the 49ers are being forced to do it, because the Rams kind of went, we don't want you coming in and taking over SoFi like you always do. We're going to go off to Melbourne. Just fair, I can it, but then it's like then you can't get upset when the 49ers say, well, you've made us go to Melbourne, so we want the Rams to come to play us in Mexico. And then apparently that was the 49ers being petty. Go figure. Anyway, but we didn't get it anyway. So we're traveling. We also have the biggest travel budget and the most miles that will be traveled by any team. And again, like usual for the 49ers are on negative rest days against the rest of the leagues, like -15 or -21 or something like that. You're getting hammered left, right, and centre. But again, we're kind of used to it now.
Well, no wonder so many players get injured.
Yeah, or that just could be the substation.
Well, yeah, of course.
Don't forget the substation. How could we forget the substation?
I don't know how I forgot the substation now.
Well, the LA Chargers certainly didn't, did they? Sorry, St. Louis, whatever the Chargers are now. Yep, they certainly didn't in their schedule release video.
Yeah, that was quite funny. Some of the videos were quite funny. Some of them were just weird, but some of them were pretty funny.
Some of them went out there. Some of them are very good. The
Chargers. I'm never too keen in the Simpsons one.
It always feels a bit.
It was good the first time, but just stop it now. Yeah. Anyway, so who do you think is going to end up with the number 1 pick next year? There's a few contenders.
There are a few contenders. The Cardinals look really bad. The Cardinals do look nailed on for next year, but
imagine if they get that after getting Love this year. Yeah. It'd be pretty
good, but
they still got to protect the quarterback.
The question would be if the quarterback, who everyone thinks is going to be number 1 next year, and that's no certainty, would he go there, or would he follow in his uncle? The thing is, uncle, right? Eli, uncle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's his uncle's footstep and say, I'm not charging you. You can draft me. I ain't going to play there. I think that might happen. But then again, Jets are going to Jets, right? I mean, the likelihood is they're going to be in and there around. And the Browns, you can never rule. I know they've got 28 quarterbacks on their roster at the minute. Who knows what they're going to do? I've got a sneaky suspicion.
Well, not go to the sauna anyway.
Who knows about the massage parlors? They must have shut them down in Cleveland.
Massage parlor, yeah.
But I've got a sneaky little suspicion that it's going to be one of those teams that nobody really expects it's going to be. Although saying that, Miami might be really bad. Miami are definitely looking. It's going to be between Arizona and Miami. I think Miami have kind of just gone, we're resetting. This year is going to be bad. We'll retool next year. We've got loads of draft picks and whatever else. I think that's what they're looking at. So I reckon it's between those two. And the likelihood is that Manning will go to Miami, I would suggest.
I do feel sorry for Asian. I hope they don't break him.
Yeah.
And Willis obviously signed that deal when he's going to have nobody to throw to, really.
He's going to have nobody. Yeah.
So maybe that tight end worked. Is it Warburg or Warburg? It's a funny name anyway. They drafted the tight ends.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get other targets.
He'll be the only one that's going to get anything. Yeah.
So when did you first get into fantasy football? Because it's not that long, is it?
It's not that long in this iteration. I had a load of friends in the US. That's why, watching football and stuff like that. I had a load of friends. And I did try the Yahoo fantasy football to try and get into it 10, 12, 15 years ago or so. But it wasn't the way it is now. It wasn't so, access wasn't so immediate. You didn't have the sort of information. So that fell away, and then I just forgot about it. Just was a fan for much longer than that. It was only 3 years ago, I want to say, maybe 4. Can't quite remember. It's pretty recent, and then it's kind of like, I can't even remember how. Was it a charity? It must have been one of the
maybe 4 because I'm pretty sure we played in leagues before I started Orkney Bowl.
Yeah.
And we're entering year 4 now, so it must be 4 years.
It must be 4 years, yeah, because we knew each other from before, and then discussed about the Orkney Ball, and so it must have been Matt's fault. Must have been a JTT Cup or one of them or something like that, and I just kind of got into it.
Or Murph.
Matt or Murph, it's their fault. Most people we always blame those guys. Whoever it is, it's usually Matt's fault or Murph's fault. Yeah, it was one of those two that I got into. I think it might have been Murph because I found out, he wrote a book, so I kind of supported him and bought his Amazon book. By doing that, you kind of get into the UK FFC league, and I think it must have been that. That's where it started off. Yep. And then obviously threw myself in.
You were one of the soundboards of the crazy idea of setting up the Orkney Bowl.
Yes, I remember, and helping you going, you should get these as your trophies. I bet you really love having that conversation.
Yeah, well, I got to guess he wasn't very nice, but in the end, because one of them never arrived, and he went, "Oh well, tough."
Yes.
So it was the one that was going to bloody Australia. It never arrived. So the next year when I bought 9, I bought a 10 because I bought one for Guy and sent it to him personally. So I knew he got it.
Yeah, you knew you got that one. Yeah.
But this new boy in America, he's quite good. Obviously, it's not cheap.
No.
But it's more expensive bloody with the postage and the thing.
Than it is anything else.
But they're nice helmets, so
you can blame the orange friend for that, won't you? Oh, well, at least get close to one. At least be in the running.
Yeah. Try and sort your team before week 10. I mean,
maybe that might be the trick. Actually, sort a team out.
It was like 3 weeks in a row you beat the team at the top of the division. That changed. You were like, I think you were 2 games off top. Then you lost the last 3 to finish out of it. But
it's just like,
I
am renowned for being the most frustrating team.
I don't think you've actually got the lowest score ever, though.
No,
in a week. I think that goes to Everett.
Nice. At least that's the target for this week.
To say his team. He ended up with like 30-odd points or something like that.
Wow.
There was just half the team were off. But yeah, he had a family thing, so he didn't set his team that weekend. So who's your biggest rival in the Orkney Bowl?
Me.
They don't have to be in the same league, or you are your biggest rival.
I think my biggest rival, because I'm the one who just completely shoots myself in the foot, and I have this tendency of massively overthinking my teams. And I look at it and I go, oh look, they're playing against the team who's 28th against the run, therefore my running back must be great. Put my running back in, and I realise my running back is Chubba Hubbard. And it's just like, great. They might be against the worst run defense in the league, but it's possibly the worst run offense, and that, it doesn't work. It doesn't. And I have the tendency of doing that, and so I am probably my own worst enemy in that. But looking at the Lou League, I'm going to just see who have I got. I want to beat Batch. Am I in the same league as Batch?
Well, you want to beat Murph.
I want to beat Murph. I am in. Yeah.
You're in Murph's in your league, I think.
Yeah. That's it.
Because you've got, I think there's about 8 new players in your league.
Yeah, there's a few new ones in there, isn't there?
Yeah, because
Duke Mauler looks
members.
good. Yeah, he's a new one. I got to beat the Giants guy, right? I got to beat the Giants fan and LeBiff, yeah. So yeah, overarchingly, I unfortunately with my record in fantasy football, I can't say I have a rival because I keep getting relegated into new divisions. So I'll eventually hit the bottom, and then I can find my level.
Let's see who's in your division. Oh, you've got Dan Penfold. He's in the Extreme Redraft one.
Oh yeah, Andy's in the Draft Addicts one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And obviously you've got Murph.
Oh, and he's just taken Loveland. Sorry.
What's that?
Penfold has literally just taken Loveland in the Draft Addicts one. He was going to be my next pick.
Is he after? Oh, I'm due on that soon, I think.
You're after me.
What do you think of the new? That's what you think of the new update Sleeper with how many picks to go. It's quite cool.
It's quite handy, yeah. Sleeper. Yeah. I mean, I use Sleeper on the web, and it's not great. On the phone, it's really good, but they haven't really done anything with their web interface, and it's a real pain in the bum sometimes because it's just like I'd like to just be able to do some
on
bits.
On the Mac, you can use the iPad version.
Oh, see.
So it's quite good, but for a while it disappeared off completely. Wouldn't work, but it started working again. So, yeah. So I've got. Oh, so are you next?
Yeah, I am. I'm looking at who I need to think about. Is it too early for?
Oh, you got 2 good running backs to start. So do I.
Yeah.
So. It is Superflex, but there's only.
Is it Superflex? It is Superflex.
Oh,
there's 12 teams left. Yeah.
Well, there's not many QBs been taken, to be honest. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 36, 25 picks.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
Yeah. You're in that situation. I'm picking, just for everyone who's watching, I'm picking 3, thinking second, and therefore you're thinking next time the QB and next time I get a pick is a long way away. Is it too early to go now? It probably is. In fact, that's a tough pick. Oh, can I overlook that?
Well, we get double picks saying because you get your one and I'll get my one. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll get it on the screen.
Oh.
Where are you?
Draft Addicts Best Ball. Let's pull it up. Where are you?
There it is.
There it is.
But this one's been going on for 5 years, I think, or 6 years.
Yeah, this is one of the original ones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it's tempting. It's tempting. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it.
Who you go for then?
Mike McDaniels will unlock Amaria Hampton, I think.
I go Derek or Barkley.
Yeah, that's a. Can you go Barkley after you shipped him off? Yes, you can. Yeah, I thought so.
No, I can't take him.
Can't take him.
He goes where we were to discuss that.
Yep. There we go. So it's already happening.
It just can't be done.
Can't be done.
Yeah. I think I traded him away in one league after after he left. I'm not. I can't do it. I didn't go as far as burning my jersey because I do tend to keep most of them, but no.
Yeah. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, I get it. I mean, you see it from the Americans and they take it a little bit too far sometimes. And also, I think the issue with the Americans and fantasy football is too extreme. At least over here, I know we've got some players in the Orkney Bowl who take it seriously and do bet on the games and stuff. But it still seems a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke. You know, it's little dabbles here and there and stuff like that. Whereas I think in America, I think fantasy football and gambling is way over the top, and people are betting silly money on things, which is where oh, you ruined my fantasy
All these
league.
silly bets.
Silly
Yeah.
bets, and it's like the players don't care. Why would the players know or care that he needed 10 more yards for you to win your league or whatever it is, and they just go off on one? It's like, maybe just don't bet 10 grand on a player then. Anyway,
I know. Well, that's the thing. I've got one or two tops.
Just a couple. Yeah.
But I've got I also because obviously I get them from DHgate, so they're a lot cheaper than Thingy. And I usually get one or two different rookies a year if I like. It's like I've got Gibbs when they came out.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Trey McBride. So if the Giants are not playing, or people put their top on to watch them play, I've got them on my team.
Absolutely.
But I just, when you're spending like £12, £15 on a top instead of 100, you can get a lot more.
You can.
I haven't got any this year though, because I'm not actually too sure.
I thought you'd have gone a bit.
If there's any I really want to buy.
No, I thought the Giants. I thought the Giants did reasonably well with your drafts this year.
I know, but you don't really buy a defensive player's top, you know what I mean? So I'm not sure how that'll work out. But
why not?
I'll wait until I get their numbers.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem is I had that last year, the year before. Last year, Ronaldo Green drafted out of Florida State, who a college team that I followed. 49ers drafted him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, went out, got his jersey number 23 or whatever it was. I was like, here we go. Yes. Literally, by the time I'd order it from Fanatics in the US, before it even shipped, number changed. Number changed. I was like, you got to be kidding me, because they traded Debo away, and then Debo's number became free, and therefore he was like, oh, I'll take that number. It's like, you pig. But then again, fortunately,
you almost have to wait until like the preseason.
Yeah, you have to
start playing their games,
and
then
So until that final cut down, it's a risk. It's a risk for the UK fans. But as you say, when you have other options available to you, then you can kind of take a bit of a punt, because £12.50 versus £149.99 for whatever it's a bit different, isn't it?
Definitely. I got a couple, it was the end of the season a couple of years ago, and they were selling them for like £7.
And it's crazy. When they
was like, so I bought a few tops, and I was like, okay.
I mean, I
know the jerseys change a bit, but you know what I mean, £7.
I mean, I've got a few Trey Lance jerseys that I might just be putting an Evans sort of name patch across the back of, because he's wearing number 5, and the jerseys haven't changed that much for 49ers. Especially the throwback edition ones. Looks exactly the same. You just need to put a new nameplate on the back.
Yeah, I've got the black CMC one with the red writing with the fancy gold in it. For last year,
yeah,
I liked that jersey.
The rivalry jerseys were really nice. The real shame for us was, by the time we eventually got around to playing it, half our team was broken, and it ended up getting pasted by the Seahawks in it. So it's kept up with the 49ers should never wear black jerseys and should never wear black uniforms, because we're never very good. Because there's this thing, the previous one, which was horrible. The black and red one from before was never any good either.
Yeah, but that last one was nice. Yeah. So, how many leagues are you in this year? Not including best balls.
Not including best balls. I have reduced down. See, this is the thing, because I was in a load. I was in so many. And this year I've kind of gone, hang on. Considering how many leagues I messed up by forgetting to set a league and forgetting to set a team, because I just kept looking and going, I've got so many, I can't find it. I've actually cut it right down. I'm only going to play some of the charity ones. I'm in about 5 or 6 Dynasty ones. I'm in about, let's have a quick 1, 2. He says here, quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11. See, I told you I was only in a few. 12, about 15 or 20. Yeah, about 15. It's actually a reasonable number.
That's not bad. I've probably got more dynasties than that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I have.
I keep on saying I'm cutting down, then somebody comes up with an orphan. So, I could do the challenge.
Oh, go on then. Why not?
I think I've taken over 4 orphans this year. I took over 3 last year.
I think I did that like 3 years ago, and it was like everyone was like, "I've got a team in this league. I've got a team in that league. I've got a team," and I was just like, "Yeah." And then it's like, okay, no, I've got enough. Let me sort this out and actually give some of these leagues a bit of time and attention, so that people don't boot me out of the league next year.
Well, if they do, that's one less to worry about.
Well, there is anyway, so swings and roundabouts, yeah.
So what do you prefer, Dynasty or Redraft?
Initially, I mean, like anybody, I suppose it's the initial buzz of Redraft, right? And so when you first start out, Redraft, these players, you kind of like tried and tested, you kind of got an idea. That's what the main sort of fantasy football thing is about. I've got more into Dynasty now, quite frankly. I love the longevity of it, the trading, the planning ahead, sometimes taking a risk, taxi squad sort of stuff. A couple of leagues that I'm properly fully in with like full rookies almost, and it's like I guarantee that's going to be a bad year, but next year those will have 1 year and it'll be a good team because they've gone through the ringer and whatnot. So I think Dynasty's the way I go, and I'm leaning a lot more towards Dynasty leagues. Because of the fact that the college football stuff is a big thing for me as well. So I know the players maybe a little better than some players. So I feel like I've got a bit of an advantage over some of them. Might not actually have because my record seems to indicate it doesn't work yet. But it's a long-term game. I think Dynasty's a long-term game.
It's not to do with that. You're obviously down to the problem that you don't set your team, especially when the Grand Prix on.
Now, it is a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem that Sundays tend to get it.
Why is Gary not picking his team? You look at the video of you dancing about the crowd, and that's why he's not. That's why he's not picking his team.
He's off at Grand Prix again. Yeah, that's happening again this week. Fortunately enough.
Well, I got offered a trade pick earlier on, but I've got Jackson Dart, and they wanted to give me Daniel Jones in the 2028 first round pick for Jackson Dart. I couldn't hit decline any quicker.
Yeah. 2027, you might have been interested, but 2028, no.
Yeah, but not 2028. But it's too far away, and I was just like, no. He was my 112 last year, so I'm not going to give him away.
And Daniel Jones, not for Indiana. I mean,
yeah. So it's just like that was a quick no.
Yep.
Sorry, Martin.
Sorry.
Not that I'm naming names.
Could have guessed who it was, to be honest, because just from the trade build up, it feels like a Martin type.
But it's just, I'm a Giants fan, I mean, I don't have many Giants players, but I've got the Scatterbo and I've got Dart in that team, and I'm not getting rid of either.
Especially not for an ex-Giants QB.
I know.
Maybe he was thinking you prefer him.
So which do you prefer, Superflex or 1 QB?
I would probably lean towards the 1 QB. It just feels a bit more not tactical, I suppose.
I certainly applaud for that one because it was a good answer.
Yeah, it was a good. I mean,
found you.
I think Superflex is almost a little bit of a cheat because if you get 2 really high-scoring QBs, and it kind of skews the scoring so much. I think if you've got 1 QB, it's kind of you've got to think a bit more about your playing squad and who they're playing against, and who you flex in and out and stuff like that. I think 1 QB makes you think a little bit more. So I kind of prefer that, but Superflex seems to be quite popular, so it's quite difficult to find 1 QB leagues here and there.
Oh, you know me, I do prefer 1 QB. Hence by the Orkney Ball's 1 QB. So what player do you tend to draft the most? Whether it's good or a bad idea.
Well, I mean, 2 years ago it was Christian McCaffrey, or was it last year? Whatever it was. When it was
my 101.
Yeah, it was my 101. I was 101 everywhere because I had a shocking year. Strangely enough, there seems to be a bit of a theme. And I was all in on him. And he never actually got started because of his Achilles and all that sort of stuff. So I have a tendency of unfortunately homerising against better judgment, even when everyone's saying you shouldn't do that. That year, I think I wasn't the only one who went all in on CMC, though, to be honest. So I think a lot of people did that. I do tend to have maybe a garnet and gold tinted glasses for any Seminoles players as well, especially rookies that are coming through. I do tend to keep sort of drafting them, even though it didn't really work for me a few years back when they had a load of guys came out who were really good on offense. They didn't play at all. They didn't go anywhere. So it doesn't sometimes work at all. But McCaffrey was my big one. And as I say, I tend to overthink things rather than Pickens, Barkley. Those are no-brainer picks, but because they play for the Eagles and they play for the Cowboys, I can't pick them. And that's never good for me either. So there's a bit of pluses and minuses there.
Cool. True enough. And who's the worst player you've ever drafted?
Kyle Pitts.
He is a bit of a killer with the fantasy,
because he's right there, and you think just maybe this is the year, and you can't turn him down, and then he does the same thing he does every single freaking year.
Yeah, but he was he tight end 3 last year, but that was only because he won game, really.
Yeah.
when he scored, like in the fantasy points scored for the Orkney Ball, I think it was like 60 points.
Yeah, he went off the wall, didn't he? Loads of catches and TDs and stuff. But yeah, there's him, and then there's also, who's the other one who's the worst one that I drafted? Again, that was probably a little bit of the Seminoles thing. I drafted Travis quite a bit. I thought he'd be a good little stash on taxis coming out. And he was a great QB for the Seminoles, and he ended up medically retiring and never playing a snap in the NFL. So, go me. Oopsie.
So, are you currently doing any work in fantasy football or podcasts with who?
Yeah, so although most of my activity is targeted towards the college football game and the Union Jack Classic, which is coming up in the UK, working closely with the guys over at the Asleep at Work Network and the College Football UK podcast. Plug. Go and join us. Go and check it out.
That's the whole point of that
That's
question.
the whole point of that question. But also, as part of the Asleep at Work Network, I have guest appeared. I don't know what it is on the Fantasy Den.
Guest appearance.
There you go. Thank you. I knew there was a word for it on the Fantasy Den, which is run by Sam, and Kian and stuff like that. So I've gone on there as well, and they talk about fantasy on there. So the Fantasy Den at the Asleep at Work Network is where I kind of sometimes duck in and out. And I believe you might have an invite, or you've been on there, haven't you?
Well, I've had an invite to do with the charity bowl, but my charity bowl's filled, so I'm not sure.
Still bang the drum. Get on there, mate. Get on there.
Well, I'll see what I'm up to that night.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, Fantasy Den with Asleep. Yeah, you and Murph, I think, was the invite. So yeah, the Fantasy Den over at the Asleep at Work Network. Go and find us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, you can give me the links and I'll post it on the show when I post it on
Marvelous. I will do just
that. Actually, I think on my homepage on YouTube, you can add channels to see, other channels to see, and I'm pretty sure I've added that on already, along with Murph and all that.
Yeah.
So, but I will post the link on the description of the show when we do the show.
Yeah. That what he just said.
Yeah. So, who's your sneaky player for this season in fantasy football? So, somebody might pick later on. There might be a hidden gem or not Kyle Pitts.
Not Kyle Pitts. It's not going to be Kyle Pitts. I want to say Singleton, but I think he's too high on people's radar. But I think he's landed in a great spot. Landed in an absolutely great spot for him, and I think he'll come through.
You think that's the end of Tajay Spears? And some chances, because they do like Pollard. They fed Pollard a lot, and he surprisingly got the fantasy points.
He did. He churned
especially to get the first downs.
Yeah, he just didn't.
He churned it. It was not pretty, but he got the points.
Yeah,
because I had him on my team.
I think Tyson at New Orleans might be an interesting one as well. Although,
especially as Olabi can't stay in the field.
Can't get on the field. Kamara is now aging and running around on a Zimmer frame. Tyler Shock likes to air it out a bit, so I think Tyson's going to be one who will probably take the field pretty early.
ATN could do well there.
Yeah,
the passes at the back.
Yeah, he really could. He should own that backfield. It should really.
Or Etienne, sorry.
Etienne, isn't it? Etienne. Yeah. Anyway, and also, I think it's Hill at Miami. Is it Hill? He's coming off a leg injury. Wide receiver.
The tight end? No, wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Now, wide receiver room is empty. I want to say it's Bell. I think it's Bell or Hill. Damn it.
Oh, they drafted a rookie called Bell.
Yeah.
C. Bell.
Chris Bell, I think it is.
Chris Bell. Yeah.
I think it is. Watch out for him.
He could have a good chance.
Watch out for him when he gets fit and healthy, because the wide receiver room in Miami is shocking. Absolutely terrible. He'll actually get snapped.
Worse than the Giants.
It's worse, and which is saying something, because you're off it. Your receiver room. You got rid of your best guy, didn't you? Well, best-ish guy. You got Neighbours, but you got rid of Wandale, didn't you?
Oh, Neighbours. Yeah, well, we've still got. I like Slayton. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Slayton, he might drop the odd bogs, but he's usually has a good couple of games going for them. So
yeah,
I saw a clip on Facebook the other day. It was the last 10 40-yard plus touchdowns for the Giants, and 4 of them were Slayton.
Oh, there you go.
So, Ken.
Yeah. Going away from rookies, because those are my sneaky rookie picks that I think will actually come good and actually score you some points. Chigga Conway, Washington.
Washington, yeah. I've picked him up a few places.
He's going to feed there. Daniel's back after an injury. Safety blanket at tight end are really, Zach Ertz was in the mix for like high end tight end. Zach Ertz, for crying out loud. Now he's got a Conway there. If you can pick him up, get him in your team. I reckon he'll score some big points for you.
You know who might do better this year than did last year? Shaheed at Seattle.
Yeah.
I think he'll do better. He's going to get some more shorter passes as well as the long passes.
Yeah.
I think. He'll take a bit of help off the JSN
and stuff.
I think he will do better this year. I'm hoping so. I picked him late in a few best balls.
He's one of those flyers, yeah. But I think Conway is definitely one if you get him. And I think people are waking up to it as well, because obviously in Tennessee he's never done anything down there, but he's gone to a team that uses their tight ends now, so watch out for him.
You know, that's the thing. He did okay, like sometimes for Tennessee, but he is a good player.
Yeah.
So
he needs.
It was a good landing spot. The Commanders.
Yeah, he needs a bit more around him, and he's got a bit more. He's got a team a bit further along the line than where Tennessee are right now. So.
Yeah. So here's one of the questions. I can't remember who it's from. Would you rather win the Super Bowl once or get to the Super Bowl many times and not win at all?
I've had the second half of that question now enough times. Can we win one now, please?
Cool.
Quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of seeing the confetti fall on another team now. We've been there 3 times. It's painful. We'd like to win one now. It's been a while. And this is the thing that gets me. As a Niners fan, I put my hand up to this. We laugh and we joke and we ridicule the Dallas Cowboys that they have won a Super Bowl for how many years or whatever else. They've won one more recently than we have. We should not.
Just don't tell them that.
Yeah,
I know,
because they can't do the maths, and they still just choke at every playoff opportunity they get. But it's still like, it galls me that it's been that long. We've been so close a couple of times. We've been a blown Chris Jones block away from winning the Super Bowl. We've had a Jimmy Garoppolo overthrow. We've had the power cut. We've paid our dues. Can we get one now, please?
Going to be hard on that one.
Yeah,
like,
the problem is we've got to get past Seattle and Rams first. Yeah.
In my time following the Giants, I've seen them win 4 times.
Yeah.
So, and you've seen them win a few times. So it's just
yeah, absolutely.
We're old enough to remember them.
Yes. So I mean, I'm old enough and lucky enough to have seen some Super Bowl wins. Yes, but it would be nice to not have to hark back to the previous millennium.
I have to admit, my best one watching it is when we beat the unbeaten Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching it up at the golf club, because I worked at the golf club at the time, so I had the keys. So me and Andrew were watching it, and he was a Patriots fan. And he had this big, massive cigar to smoke at the end of it after the win. And we're walking back down the road to the golf club, and the pitch black at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And a bloody cold night. And he gives me the cigar to smoke going down the road, because obviously the Giants won.
Nice.
I was like,
God, mate.
Yeah, so I did share it with him, because it was a big bloody cigar.
A big old fat thing, yeah.
So anyway, so here's the next one. Would you rather have all your players who have played and have a lead on Monday Night Football, or have a couple of players left to play with a projected win? What would you prefer? Points on the board?
I suppose historically, with the recent dross that Monday Night Football has served up, and the last few years, there's not been a really good Monday Night Football for fantasy football purposes. There's been some great games, but I don't think there's been a great Monday Night Football fantasy. There was one. There was one.
Week 16, because I had McCaffrey and Kittle.
Yeah.
And I think they went off and won.
They went off against.
And I got through to the final.
Yeah, they went off against somebody against.
Yeah, between the pair of them, I think they scored like 65, 70 points in the OrkneyBowl scoring.
Yeah, I think.
But apart from that, they're usually draws.
Usually draws, aren't they? And then it's the problem with those Thursday night, Monday night games. Yeah, they just never provide you with the points. So get the points on the board, and if the guy wins it in Monday night, so be it. But I think I prefer to have that. Adds a
the
little bit
points.
extra spice as well, rather than the just in case, and especially for you, as a commissioner, the points that you get on a Monday night by the time Tuesday afternoon rolls around may have amended themselves anyway, right? Because points adjustments come in and whatever else, and you think you've won, you've lost, and you've
the
lost.
points adjustments usually happen on a Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday.
Even better for you, yeah.
But the good thing with the Dynasty Locker site is when it comes to the thing that it will do it automatically, so you don't have to.
Nice, you don't
do
sit
it,
there and go, oh, you get half a point, you get a little bit less, you get more.
Yeah, I do feel sorry for Arthur in year one when he was
he took half a point off him or
well, yeah, he beat Doug, I think it was, in the consolation playoff to get to Division 3.
Yeah.
But the score correction made he lost, and he ended up in Division 4.
Yeah, it was hard.
But then at least he got a helmet now because he won last year, so he's got a helmet. So
everyone's got to go through the hard times before the good times come around.
So I've got one question from Sean, who was the last one on, and I've got the audio one for this, so hopefully it'll play well.
If you could make one change to the NFL draft, like across the whole sort of, 3-day jamboree that it now is, what would it be? Would it be, more time for trading picks? Would it be less time? Would it be push it all back to 2 days? I'm curious to know what people would do to change the draft and make it a bit more. I don't want to say interesting because it's still interesting, but yeah, like what would be the one thing that you'd be like? I don't know. It could be like no one's allowed to sort of say who, no sort of like shouting picks early or anything like that. I guess they've tried to stop that, but yeah, just what would my question to the next person would be? What would you do to improve the NFL draft?
5-minute clock timer. And then
what's the clock timer now?
They've gone down to 8 minutes, but even that still felt like 4 minutes of adverts. Teams know who they're going to draft. There's not that much that goes on, right? Yeah. 5 minutes is more than enough to get eke it out and get a few adverts in and get the draft analysts and whatever else. And yes, there was a load of complaints. I know there was a load of complaints this year that the broadcast wasn't keeping up and whatever else. But I mean, this is a purely
you're not going to stop the draft. You heard on the boys. We're going to have a hydration break. I mean, we're going to have a break.
Sorry. Yeah, it's hydration break. Yeah, exactly.
That's Americans giving you 4 quarters instead of 2 halves at football.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. No, I've put the clock down, and I would put the first and second round in the same night. I don't think it needs to be dragged out. Because especially from a UK perspective, it's made such a big deal and a big hoo-ha and an event and whatever else, and it's late. If your team's drafting 28, 29, 30, like we were, we were drafting. What did we originally? 28th, I think we were supposed to draft this year or whatever it was, somewhere in that sort of region. So it's a long old night, and then if you trade out like we did, it's like, thanks guys, it's 4:30 in the morning. And we stayed up for absolutely nothing. And there's nothing then afterwards. 5-minute clock timer will make it quicker. And first two rounds on the same night. Get more players in there. Get more people in the green room. You don't just need those top 12 or 15. Get two rounds in, crack it out. But the NFL is all about making money.
Yeah, and then they just do the rest the next night. You don't have to do
2 nights. You can do it over 2 nights and be done and dusted. It doesn't have to be over the whole weekend. But
you can even do Friday, Saturday. It doesn't have to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Friday, Saturday.
Friday night, Saturday night. Friday night football. I mean, Friday night draft. I mean, it's got everything you can want, right? It can make all the razzmatazz as much as you want.
Well, maybe not for me. I'll still be working the next morning anyway, but because I work Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
But, yeah.
It would still be a lot better than Thursday night. It is a bit of a joke.
It is. I mean, we all, from a UK perspective, so we stay up for those dross Thursday night football games when you end up losing 11-9 to the Broncos after your quarterback steps out of the end zone. Not that I'm scarred by that at all. Thanks, Jimmy. So we give us something back by speeding some of the other things up a little bit.
Yes, it'd be quite cool. So obviously, next up will be Kelly Portbelly on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. So, what's your question for him? So before I got to work, so it's quite handy.
Yeah, it's quite handy. And now, is this the question I wrote into my question? My question is, I think, how quickly.
Oh yeah, what was the question?
Was this my answer? I think. Or was this a question to me? I can't remember now.
How quick? Oh yeah, no, this is your contention when you can ask that one for Kelly, because that was quite funny.
Yeah,
is this for the fantasy team or the football team or both? Do it for both, because you know how much you love the Cowboys.
Yeah, do it for both. Do it for both. Yeah, team, but also more directed to fantasy. But however, yeah, how quickly will your team be out of contention this year? Will it be week 3 or will it be week 4?
In the Orkney Bowl. Depends how many defenders you draft.
or like me when we did that one draft that one year where you had to draft a player in each position and I completely forgot to draft a kicker.
Oh yeah, that was quite funny. But I did open up free Braden's waiver so you can get that. So yeah.
Although the rest of the league were like, nah, sod him. He doesn't deserve it.
Yeah. But then sometimes the kickers are useless anyway. Like, look at the Giants here. The amount of times they drafted Garner when they're like a best ball and he gets injured after one kick. It's like, what's the fucking point?
Super.
Anyway, but that's us done, and that's not too bad. It's only been an hour.
Nice stuff.
I'd imagine the one on Sunday morning is probably going to be a bit longer than Kerry, especially if he's on the soft.
He does enjoy chatting football, shall we say?
He does, yes. And of course, we've got on week 1 this year, so Monday morning Pez and Pork Show is going to be a fun one after that.
It's going to be spicy.
It's going to be fun. But anyway, thank you for coming on. It's been great to chat to you.
It's been good to catch up.
It's always fun. And like I say, anything you want to come and join us, like I might now and again just do, because on the Dynasty Locker, I've got all the fixtures and there'll be the results of the Rousey Cup, so I might do the odd show and go through that, because Craig's not interested in that until I get to the playoffs.
Yeah, but he's like glory.
There's 108 bloody teams in that, like, so, and there's a lot of games in it. But yeah, but thank you for coming on. And if I need a hand with that, I'll give you a shout.
Yeah, you know where I am. You know, cool. I'm really shy and retiring and hate talking on the screen.
Oh, you hate talking about football.
Always. I'm so shy and retiring. Yeah.
But mind on and send me that link as well, and I'll get it added to the description.
I'll get it sent over. Cheers, Johnny.
Cheers.
Take it easy.